Hey there, let me ask you something. What if you could actually map your spiritual journey? I mean, really chart it out. Today, we're diving into a fascinating framework that does just that, treating the path to absolute certainty and faith almost like, well, a personal math problem.
I know, it sounds a little wild, right? Can you really calculate faith? But hang on. The goal here isn't to get some final definitive score. Think of it more like a map or a blueprint, a way to really understand our own spiritual progress. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
You know, that search for certainty, that deep down need for a truth that feels solid, real, and just true, that's something we all get. It's a core part of being human. And in Islamic spirituality, there's actually a specific name for the highest level of that conviction.
And that name is haqqul yaqeen. It basically means the truth of certainty. We're not talking about just simple belief here. No, this is something much deeper. It's a profound state of knowing that's absolutely unshakable. It's really seen as the ultimate goal of a spiritual journey.
Okay, so how in the world do you even begin to map a path to something that profound? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The framework we're looking at today proposes a kind of theoretical formula. Let's call it a calculus of faith. It's a way to visualize what builds that certainty up and, just as importantly, what can tear it down.
All right, here's the formula itself. Take a look at the structure. You've got 4 positive things, the good stuff, all added together. These are like the pillars you're building. But, and this is key, faith isn't just about adding up good deeds. You also have to subtract that one negative variable, challenges. It's a constant balancing act for sure. So let's break down these 5 core variables, shall we? We'll look at the 4 things that build you up and the one that tries to chip away at it all.
So here are the inputs. You've got worship, knowledge, reflection, and community. Those all build you up. And then you have challenges, which, test your foundation. So let's kick things off with that first pillar, worship.
First up is ibadah, which is worship. And this isn't just some abstract feeling or idea. It's all about building a tangible, real, spiritual rhythm in your life through consistent practices.
So what are we talking about? Things like the 5 daily prayers, fasting, zikr, which is the remembrance of God. The most important word here is consistency. Every single action, done regularly, adds to your total.
Okay, our next variable is ilmu, or knowledge, and this is a big one. The whole framework here argues that faith isn't just about believing something blindly. It's about reinforcing that belief with deep, genuine understanding.
And how do you get this knowledge? Well, it comes from dedicated study of the core texts, like the Quran and Hadith. But also, and this is absolutely crucial, it comes from learning directly from scholars who can offer real guidance and clarity.
All right, number 3 on the positive side is reflection, or reflection. I love this one. If knowledge is the what, the information you take in, then reflection is the so what. It's all about that internal work, connecting what you've learned to your own actual life.
And this happens through things like daily meditation, personal prayer, or just honest-to-goodness self-examination. This is really where that head knowledge starts to solidify into real, heartfelt conviction.
Next up, we have communitas, or community. And this is so important because it recognizes that faith is rarely a solo journey, right? But here's the thing, this isn't a passive variable where you just show up. Your score here grows through active participation. And critically, it grows when you teach and share what you've learned with other people. I think that's so cool. In this model, strengthening others is a direct way to strengthen yourself.
And finally, we get to the only negative variable in our equation, hambatan, or challenges. This part is all about acknowledging a simple reality. Life is always going to test our faith.
These obstacles, they can be internal, things like doubt, or they can be external. Anything from modern distractions pulling at your attention to really deep personal trials and tests. And every single one of these challenges subtracts from your total.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in practice? Let's run the numbers. The source we're looking at gives a hypothetical example, assigning scores to each variable, just to show how this whole calculus works. Let's see how it adds up.
All right, so in this example, the person's positive practices, all that worship, knowledge, reflection, and community stuff, it gives them a pretty strong subtotal of 83 points. Not bad at all.
But of course, life isn't just the good stuff. We have to subtract the impact of their challenges, and in this case, that comes out to 14 points.
And here's where it all comes together. You take that positive 83, subtract the challenging 14, and you get a final score of 69.
So, what does a score of 69 even mean? Is that a B+? Well, no. The whole point of this framework isn't to give you a final grade. Not at all. It's meant to be a tool for self-assessment, a clear roadmap for your own personal growth.
So a score like 69, yeah, it would indicate good progress. But what's way more important is that the framework acts like a diagnostic tool. It pinpoints exactly where the biggest opportunity for growth is. And in this case, it's pretty clear. It's about developing more resilience to life's challenges.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't a spreadsheet. It's a mirror. It's a tool for self-reflection, which really just leaves us with one final question for you. If you were to look at your own life through this lens, how would you score your journey?